Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are back again with another full match in MCOC Open Battlegrounds tournament sponsored by Evizone. All the relevant links in the video description. They are an amazing messaging and file transfer service, and this is still round 4, so it is 16 of the best players fighting for the spot in top 8, and we have Roman numeral 17, oh just 17, I like to tease him with that whole Roman numeral thing. Anyways, we have 17 taking on Fintech, and obviously many of you know Fintech for the amazing and extremely skilled player that he is. So this should be an extremely interesting watch, because I personally have played both of these players. Fintech is a teammate of mine, a battle group mate of mine, an absolute monster when it comes to MCOC, and obviously 17 is also extremely skilled to be here. I have met him in Battlegrounds myself as well, played against him, and the first defensive placements here seem to be Warlock and Toad. Seems that Finn is going to be using Human Torch to deal with Toad, and 17 has CGR to more than likely absolutely destroy that Warlock, because yeah, here again it does seem that Finn might be tactically throwing away the round 1. Who knows, because I doubt that Human Torch can outpace CGR in this type of matchup, especially given the fact that Human Torch is not going up against a champion with many energy attacks or a Mystic champion. So, and that is absolutely exactly true. We are less than 30 seconds in the fight, and Warlock's dead. That fight took 23 seconds. And Human Torch is doing fine. Human Torch is doing well enough. I think I have had to use Human Torch against Toad at some point as well. But yeah, it definitely is going to be nowhere near as fast. You can get the fight done if you know exactly what you're doing, but you do need to be, well, first of all, careful. And second of all, it will take more time than that. It will definitely take more time than that. And yeah, so this first fight is definitely going to go in favor of, well, it already has gone in favor of 17. Finn is there just gonna finish out that fight. You can see that 42 seconds remain in the fight, but Toad is being a bit stubborn. One thing you do want to avoid is obviously Toad getting all of those regions when you get him cornered. So ideally you do want to kind of like bait Toad out of that corner throughout the fight. Here he seemingly is going to finish the fight level 3, but obviously you know, this is just not going to be comparable times for this, because we have 90 some seconds and 20 seconds. Like, it's impossible to beat 57k score here in this type of situation with matchups. 23 seconds, that's ridiculously fast nuke. But it does seem that Finn threw this on purpose, and let's see how it works out now, because I do think I saw Killmonger drafted there for Finn, which obviously he still has answers. He still has Kitty, Domino, both of them are acceptable Killmonger counters, but he plays Domino on defense. Now against Domino here, Finn is using Mordo. Interesting. And keeping a Mega Sentinel. I would have thought that he's gonna pick. Okay, so we have Mordo going up against Domino, and we have Kitty Pryde going up against Killmonger. Now, Kitty Pryde obviously is a very, very good Killmonger counter. However, Killmonger fights are still quite finicky. Unless you completely switch off his abilities by armor breaking him, you know, things can still go wrong, chip damage can still appear, and, you know, Killmonger also is quite tanky. But why is Finn using Mordo against Domino? Well, I bet he has a plan. It's actually unlucky, but he's not taking... No, he is taking crit fail damage. But still, it does appear that Mordo is doing very, very well against Domino here. So he drops his level 2 as the 15 Furies active. And unfortunately, he's unlucky. Domino waits, he gets the disorient, he has to block that level 1. But man, Mordor definitely did better than I thought he would. Mordor finishes the fight out in 48 seconds with 82% health. That is faster than Omega Sentinel would have finished that fight. I'm pretty sure the Omega Sentinel needs about a minute. It can be done in like 50 seconds as well. And Kitty is about here still taking down that Killmonger, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you have a good counter to Killmonger, you can still take a little bits of reverb damage or chip damage here and there, plus Killmonger is a tanky boy. And even with Kitty Pryde here, you can see that Killmonger is taking a longer time to get down, and Finn takes this round 2 with Mordor against Domino. This was the first time I think I have seen somebody use Mordor against Domino in Battlegrounds as well, which is quite interesting. And let's see what's going to happen in round 3 here. Now for round 3, we have 17 with Nick Fury, and that is exactly who he drops immediately. And Finn drops Omega Sentinel, which is, I guess, why he decided to save it. Now, here on a paper, Omega Sentinel fights obviously can be slightly sketchy at times, but Omega Sentinel, I personally don't see as that tough of a defender, and her health pool really isn't the biggest. On the other hand, we have Nick Fury, who is an amazing, amazing defender. So let's see how this ends. On paper here, 17 definitely has the advantage. And he gets hit. He seemingly misses a parry and immediately loses a significant portion of his health. But, okay, he still has a debuff on him, which is fine. Just don't push Omega Sentinel to level 2, bait out at level 1, get some more of those debuffs, get some more smolders, and finish out the fight as quickly as you can. But here you can see that Juggernaut is chipping away quite successfully at Nick Fury. He's just trying to bait out that level 2, and let's see how Juggy goes against that Nick. Unfortunately, none of the level 2 hits crit. There he baits out a heavy attack from Nick, though, in order to be able to punish it, and is going to get rid of the first first life. And there Human Torch finishes the fight, but obviously Human Torch did take some damage there, so this fight is still very much so in play and very much interesting. So there, unfortunately, Finn does lose his unstoppable privileges for a while because he used the unblockable, which is like one of the most annoying things about Juggernaut's kit, in my opinion. But he's back to being unstoppable. So he finished that Nick Fury fight in 82 seconds and takes the dub. Now, on paper, this one definitely seemed to be in favor for 17. Let's face it. He should have won this matchup. Human Torch is definitely well faster and well more capable of taking on Omega Sentinel. And that missed parry or dropped input or whatever happened at the very beginning is just a very, very unfortunate thing. He 100% had the matchup advantage. Now let's take a look at round number 2, and this time seems that Finn is going to start with Toad on defense, and 17 is dropping Mojo as his defender. So Finn's going to use Scorpion to deal with Mojo, and more than likely we will see Warlock used against Toad. So I think it's relatively even. Kind of like both players have very, very good counters here. I would say that it kind of favors slightly 17's matchup because Toad's health pool is quite significantly smaller than Mojo's health pool is, because Mojo is just a very, very tanky boy. So, but let's see how it works out. Obviously, there are things that can go wrong against Toad as well, but Warlock is a very great counter, completely heal blocking him, consistently draining the power. And the only thing that you need to be worried with Warlock against Toad is to getting passively stand when you have too many prowess build up. But here, let's see how Scorp does. Scorp already has dealt with half of health of that Mojo, and he carries on chipping away. But obviously we have Warlock already set up, so this is going to be a very, very close finish, I think. Finn has taken about 3% block damage, which 17 hasn't yet, so, but this is definitely a close fight. But Finn does finish it first, 47 seconds. And is there any difference in health? So close. What is the score difference there as well? It's like 600 points, 700 points score difference. But Finn takes this one with Scorpion. Very, very close, very tight. But okay, so Finn takes the early lead in this one, given the fact that he's 1 up already. 17 is getting in a bit of a tight spot here. Let's see how he decides to proceed. He drops Mallman on defense, which I think is an underrated play. I do think Mallman is significantly better as a defender than many people give him credit for, especially in some certain matters. But 17 will have to deal with Hercules. Obviously, Hercules is one of those champions that can be extremely annoying to deal with as well. So 17 is opting to go with Stealth Suit Spider-Man, and Finn is going with Hulkling. So both of them have nuke champions going at each other. Let's see who takes the win here. It's going to be very close. Obviously, Hercules in this case is the beefier defender because I presume he's a rank 4. At the very least, it looked like that by the health pool comparison. And here Finn decides to go for the 4 Pierce from the beginning. He gets his parry in. I wonder if Finn meant to actually parry, because now that Mallman has Monster Mass, he can't really... Oh no, he did still get that blocked drop in, got rid of the Monster Mass, and Finn is playing this absolutely perfectly with Hulkling. That is excellent. Excellent fight. And Finn finishes it in 31 seconds. So, it does look like Finn will take this one home as well, because Stealthy is fast, but he still has to deal with that immortality, which does take time. And Hulkling is just faster. Hulkling is such a monster for Battlegrounds, man. Offensively and defensively, he's a problem. He's one of those champions that you can refer to as a problem. But yeah, definitely here is a bit wider margin here for 3+ K points. So Finn does take the round 2 as well, and he takes 2-0 lead. Now this is getting very, very bad for 17. Obviously, with Finn having won first 2 rounds in a very decisive manner, he does have to stage a comeback here. Let's see if that happens. First fight that Finn will have to tackle is going to be Korg. Korg is pretty much always a solid defender, even if opponents have good counters to Korg. Korg typically tends to be one of those somewhat slower fights. And 17 has to deal with Hyperion. Finn did drop his Hyperion, and we're going to have Kingpin against Korg, which is not the fastest fight, but you can finish with 100%. And then we have CGR versus Hyperion, which should be the winning fight. In reality, CGR against Hyperion should be very, very quick nuke fest, unless something goes wrong. So let's see what happens here. So he starts with parry heavy. All of that is fine. He's going to drop a full combo finish with light. He needs to bait out a level 2 at this point, which does trigger precision, which, you know, will slow down this fight. But he does go into his 5 combo with a medium finish, and he drops his level 2. So there are not too many crits, but he does have to bait out another level 1 here at this point. Sorry, level 2 at this point. Hyperion is cooperating, which is a great piece of news. He does trigger another judgment with a medium combo finisher, and now he definitely does need another level 2 bait, which works out perfectly. He goes for a level 2, and meanwhile Kingpin is slowly but steadily chugging along. It does look like, however, CGR is going to have pretty much a perfect fight here against Hype. He can go for the kill here, and he does get it, so he does finish Hyperion in under a minute, whilst Kingpin, again, is doing this fight very safely and steadily, but it's not the fastest option. There are many, many faster core counters. Kingpin is more of a backup core counter, if you will, typically in most situations. And that shows. that shows. So here he goes for level 2 in order to try and speed things up, but still there's only 30 seconds left on timer, and obviously 17 finished this fight with nearly 100% health, so the winner is obviously decided here in this situation. He drops level 1 here and taking all that. Yeah, it was 96-second fight, so definitely not the fastest. But let's see how it works out. So 17 is possibly making his comeback here. At least he avoided a must-win fight, because had he lost the round 1, he would absolutely have to win rounds 2 and 3 in order not to be completely wiped out of the tournament. And let's see what happens now. So we have Penny Parker in defense, and we have Nick Fury. So Finn is going to be taking on Nick Fury with Toad. Toad is an amazing Nick Fury counter, obviously. And we have Mole Man going up against Penny Parker. Mole Man is actually quite a good Penny Parker counter as well. You just need to kind of like slow play it a bit, get your level 2, drop your... We'll see how well 17 does here with Mole Man. Matchup wise though, I think at this point, I think I'd prefer to do the Toad fight, because doing Penny fights with suboptimal counters is always a bit RNG. It's always a bit sketchy. So we'll see how it's going to work out. So here he goes for another heavy attack. I think, you know, if I was in this situation, I'd probably try to build up all of my charges here before I triggered Frenzy, which is exactly what 17 did as well. And now just be careful when hitting Penny Parker. Push her past 2 bars of power. Sweet. Now he should have taken that hit on a block gun unstoppable for increase in damage there. But we can see that Toad is just absolutely clapping away at that Nick Fury. He's betting out level 1 now. And Toad, if lucky enough, can pretty much completely bypass the second life of Nick Fury, which is something that Finn is trying to align here as well. So he is going to finish this combo with a medium. Sweet. And yes, he gets 7 poisons and he completely bypasses the second life of Nick Fury, and he finishes it in 60 seconds. That's a very, very good Nick Fury kill. And we can see that Penny Parker is still alive and kicking, and he's taking that power burn damage, which, you know, ultimately does still hurt. Her shield comes back as well, which is very bad in this situation, considering that she drops another power burn. And yeah, no, Finn does take this round quite confidently here. Another small mistake here at the end, but those small mistakes, you know, all add up and are super important. And it's not going to be a very beautiful finish here for that Mole Man fight, especially now that he fell out of Frenzy and basically has to rebuild his monster mass, redrop his heavy attacks, and re-enter Frenzy. So he's even going to timeout. Is this the first timeout we see? This is one of the very few timeouts that we saw in a tournament. But alas, it doesn't matter, because Toad took care of business extremely well. And now we're going to take a look at the final round. We have Toad, Domino, and Mr. Negative for 1. And Jugs, Tigra, and who is the last champion there for Finn? Jugs, Tigra, and Dr. Doom. So Finn will have to deal with Domino, and 17 will have to deal with Dr. Doom. It's quite interesting because obviously Mr. Negative is a very solid Dr. Doom counter. Mr. Negative can finish up Dr. Doom with like 95% or 92% health in like 50 seconds or so. Let's see how that Tiger does. And if Finn wins this one, that just reinforces the idea of always banning Finn's Tiger. Because, you know, Finn just Tigers everyone that you normally wouldn't want to Tiger. Anyways, let's see how he does here. Right. So, Mr. Negative is setting up extremely well. He has already 9 dark energy, he has 6 light energy. But he runs in a level 1, which could actually end up being the decisive factor there. And Tiger is already done 40 seconds against Domino. That is exceptionally good fight. 40 seconds is definitely very good. And here 17 is... he missed the level 2 await as well. So he does take more damage. With the full health bar, he could have potentially snuck past that score. But no. Finn does take it. Finn does bring it home. And that is it. Finn sweeps 17, 3-0 and advances to top 8. So we are definitely getting a very, very competitive bunch of people in there. I believe this is a 5th or 6th match that I commented on. We only have a couple more of these round fights to show before we start with the new round and the new meta. So definitely, if you guys are enjoying these streams, stay tuned, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the